प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः. What a beautiful verse it was in the 12th shloka of this 7th chapter. Sri Krishna gave a highly meditative verse with regard to the entire universe and as applicable to our own within. He pointed out that everything can be put in three categories. Things that are sattvic, physical, mental, or on any other level. Things could be rajasic, things could be tamasic also. Ye chaiva sattvika bhava rajasaha tamasascha ye matta eveti tan vid. Please know that everything sattvic, rajasic or tamasic come from me. They arise in me. A shloka like this can take an advanced devotee to samadhi, the advanced bhakta, the advanced upasaka. And how do you and I get advanced? By practice. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena chagye. One must turn within. Unless we turn inwards by simply talking, good and bad, everything comes from God. That means God is in them. God Himself appears as good and bad in this universe, in our own mind also. In view of that, I call this a very meditative verse. We must realize the presence of God and then do whatever is dharma, whatever is appropriate, whatever seems to us to be our duty. Keep doing your duty, says Sri Krishna. In the next chapter, he is going to say, Mam Anusmara Yudhyacha, the twofold advice. Remember my presence in everything, but do your duty. Therefore, that is a great sutra to find peace in life. If you see life without presence of God in everything, life can be endlessly puzzling. Why is this happening? Why is that happening? Why are they suffering? Why am I suffering? Why? There are endless whys about this life, but when we see it is God who is at play. Therefore, in the Jnana Yoga, we say, though a lot seems to be happening, actually nothing is happening. Yatra kinchin na jayate, says Mandukya Karika. Nothing ever happened, nothing ever is happening, and nothing ever will happen is your antardrishti. Nobody is saying you should therefore sit in a corner and wait for lunchtime or dinner time. Sri Krishna says, Yudhyacha. Do your job. God has made you in a certain way. God has given you some skills, some talents, some abilities. Use them and serve humanity, serve all forms of life. Ma manusmara yudhyacha, which will come in the 7th verse of the next chapter, is a powerful piece of advice. If we go by that, on one hand, we will not have agitations. On the other, we rise higher and higher on the spiritual scale. Now coming to the next verse, before even going to the next verse, Adi Shankara makes a comment. Even though God is in everything, Shankaracharya says in simple, prasanna gambhira samskritam, evam bhutamapi parameshwaram. Even though it has been made clear a number of times, God is in everything, in demons as well as gods. Evam bhutamapi parameshwaram, nitya shuddha buddha mukta svabhavam, sarvabhutatmanam nirgunam samsara dosha bija pradahaya. You and I have the golden opportunity to burn away the very seeds of worldly existence. We think the world is torturing us. Vedanta shows to us that our wrong vision is torturing us. Therefore, samsara dosha bija pradahaya, to burn away the very seeds of that vicious tree called worldly existence, what we must do is know God, be with God. Know God, know peace. K-N-O-W, know God, and K-N-O-W, know peace. Whereas generally we believe no God, N-O. There is no God. All this talking is okay, but really, finally, this material world is real. That is no God, N-O. No wonder we have no peace, N-O. No peace. We don't have peace. It's as simple as that. Shankaracharya says, Evam bhutamapi parameshwaram mam abhijanati jagat. Jagat means everybody. Everybody in the world fails to see God, who is everywhere. Iti anukrosham darshe Bhagavan. This part can be connected with the 12th verse itself. And then going to the 13th verse, Bhagavan Bhashyakara, Sri Shankaracharya says, Tachakim nimittam jagataha ajnanam. But why do people behave like that? Though it is declared in no uncertain terms, there is God outside and inside. There is God above and below. There is God in the past, in the present, in the future. In your own heart, there is God. All this is said. And yet, na abhijanati jagat. Why? Kim nimittam? For what cause? For what reason? That's where we enter. The 13th shloka of the 7th chapter, where Bhagavan talks about the play of gunas. Tribhir gunamayir bhavaihi ebhi sarvamidam jagat mohitam nabhijanati mamebhya paramavyayam. Idam jagat, this world, that means all of us living in this world. Alas, we are mohitam, we are deluded. That's the whole problem. You and I fall a prey to the attractions, to the false lure of this world. The glitter and glamour, on one hand, attract us, and the death, disease, and so on the other hand, frighten us. Oh, I don't want to fall sick like this man has fallen. Oh, I don't want to be living in poverty like this. Oh, let that not happen to us, which is happening to such and such people here, there. So we are afraid of certain things in the world and we are so attracted to certain other things. That is more. Whereas if you and I, rather than going in circles, identify the essence of spirituality and stay put in that regular abhyasa. As it was said in the sixth chapter, yato yato nischarati manasyanchalam astiram tatastato niyam yaitat atmanyeva vasham naye. Every time when the mind goes out, just to bring it back, that is abhyasa. Most people go on listening to lectures or studying books, but they don't practice. And then there are the other foolish people who practice but have long back stopped studying. Therefore, they practice in a sense, but actually they go to sleep or they don't advance because they have no clarity. As Swami Paramarthanandi says at a certain place, if you have stopped studying Vedanta and you turn inward, you want to know the highest truth, but then there is no answer coming from your own within. Your intellect has nothing to say when you look within and ask, who am I? Therefore, he exhorts one of the most excellent traditional teachers, Swami Paramarthanandaji, in Chennai. My Vedanta studies began with him. So inspired by Swami Chinmayanandi, before I could actually see Swami Chinmayanandi, later month of 1980, I ended up at the classes of Brahmachari Paramartha Chaitanya, who was part of Chinmaya Mission that time. And within a couple of months, Pujya Swami Chinmayanandi also came. I met him the first time at a house of Leela Nambiyar on College Road, Chennai. First time one evening I went and met him. But before meeting Pujya Gurudev, though I was studying his books already, I first met Brahmachari Paramartha Chaitanya. 43 years have passed and today he is looked up to by thousands and thousands of people around the world, of course mostly Indians, for clear explanation on Vedanta. So he says, if you do not study, you say, I have stopped studying, I only meditate. You will hit a blank wall. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi also translated Atma Bodha, Viveka Chudamani, and some other works of Sanskrit, of Tamil, and so on. For what? He wanted people practicing who am I inquiry to be informed of the pure self. There has to be a certain intuitive grasp of the pure self. With that strengthening you, you eliminate all false ideas that you have about yourself. Swamiji says, Paramarthanandi, you ask who am I just like that? From your within, no answer will come forth. He belongs to the group of teachers who actually emphasize Shastra Adhyayana a lot, quite a lot. And you and I wonder, do we need to go on studying Shastras? And that camp says yes. It is in Shastra Adhyayana, study of the scriptures, that Brahmatma Jnana arises. There can be a little bit of difference among masters. Some masters do not emphasize scriptural study so much. But as I already said, and I don't have to repeat again and again, Maharshi Ramana also never said, keep away all the books, never look at them anymore. He only did not want us to get lost in books and books, reading and reading, talking and talking. No. Read a little, be informed, have a certain sense of what is anatma, what is atma. Some terminologies are indispensable, unavoidable in any study. If you don't know the basic words, then how will you get going? So have certain what is called the principle or the primaries, core teachings of Vedanta, and then handle your mind, deal with your mind. So, mohitam, most people don't do it. They either are caught in just bookish study. They don't want to sit even 2 minutes quietly. They're so restless and they pay a price for it. Then there are people who just sit for hours and hours. Alas, they seem to be caught in a certain dislike towards even scriptures. That is mohitam. You are not only caught in some dislike, vesha, against people or places, but you seem to have developed a dislike for Vedanta also. Therefore, you distribute all your books away and then you want to just simply sit. The Shastras say that if you do that, you may go into a certain semblance of freedom, but it is not freedom. In true freedom, there has to be clear understanding, clear knowledge. Jnana devatu kaivalyam. The jnana has to arise. Samyak darshana has to arise. Otherwise, you will successfully quieten your mind. Your mind will become so quiet and you will experience happiness. But lo, a little later, in some daily life situation, you will lose your temper or you will lose your self-control. You will lose your balanced view and you will speak something inappropriate. You will do something is mad. Then you say, how could I do this? Then you are caught in regrets also. So that means you hardly had changed. All your meditation didn't take you anywhere. That would be the conclusion. Tribihi gunamayihi bhavaihi. Bhava, anything that exists is a bhava. The earlier verse used that word. Ye chaiva sattvikai bhavaihi rajasais tamasais chava. Bhava, something that is entities. It could be physical entities, pots or flowers or stones or fruits, physical. Or it could be mental, emotional. You say, today I have some fear in me from early morning. That is a bhava, a rajasic bhava. If you say, somehow from this morning I am so content, I repeatedly thank God for giving me whatever I have. I'm feeling so content. How long it lasts, we don't know. But it is also a bhava. Tribihi gunamayihi bhavaihi yebihi. For by all this, sarvamidam jagat mohitam. The whole world by which he means all people. In the West, in the East, the rich and the poor, the accomplished and the unknown. Gold medal winners in Olympics and somebody who is handicapped and cannot go even 1 mile, the well cannot go even 100 feet. All of them, sarvam jagat mohitam. And so what? Na abhijanati. Therefore, they don't know me. Sri Krishna says, Mam abhijana, na abhijana. Shankaracharya says, Bhavaihi here means Ragadvesha Mohadi Prakarai. Yesterday I was hearing a discourse by a scholar last evening, just for 10 or 15 minutes, sampled a certain talk which was quite good. And the speaker was saying, there was a sadhu who was so good, who went from home to home and begged for food. And it was arduous. Maybe going to many homes, everybody would give a little food, putting it all together. Probably he would make it into 2 meals in the day. But then one lady in a certain house said to him, "Oh, pious man, why do you go so many places? Just come here, I'll give you a full meal here itself." And he started going to that house only. But he remained very detached. But one day she served food in gold plate, gold glasses, gold spoons, and so on. A hearty meal served on gold plate. And the sadhu ate it. He noticed that the plate was of gold, and he himself did not realize what was happening to him. The sadhu suddenly thought, see, this Amma, this lady, cannot be really depended on. She has her highs and lows. Today she has gone to a high, serving me food on gold plate. What guarantee is there that another day she will go to a low? She seems to be very moody. Another day she may say, stop coming here. I am fed up of you, or something she may say. He imagines. And he goes to an extreme. He says, I'll wash this plate. She says, okay. And that washing some tap with water is outside the house towards the road. He goes out, washes the plate, the cup, the glass, and the spoon, and then he just takes that gold plate, etc., and goes far away from unknown place. He just stops coming there. Practically, he steals the gold plate. But after a few days, some kind of delusion he went into wore off. He says, what have I done? This lady was so kind. She was giving me a full meal and something to carry home also probably. And what did I do? He goes back and apologizes, gives the plate back and says, I will not come here anymore. I have done something wrong. Then the lady says, sit for a minute. I'll tell you something. You never asked me what my husband does. He said, what does he do? I once or twice saw him, but I never asked you what his profession is. The lady says, you know, my husband is a thief. That's the only thing he does. He steals. And that gold plate and the gold glass and the gold spoon, all of that, he had stolen from some rich man's house in the neighboring town. And I washed it, chanting Krishna Krishna, and served food to you. And you are not at fault. What happened to you is, she says, because you ate on a plate that came out of theft, certain impurities entered your mind. So what that speaker was saying last evening as I heard that talk was like a nice story that throws light on an Upanishad Vakya. In the Chandogya Upanishad, in the 7th chapter, towards the end, sage Sanat Kumara says, ahara shuddhau, sattva shuddhi. If your food is pure, then your mind goes on becoming pure. When they asked Ramana Maharshi, what is the best of all sadhanas? Helping in who am I inquiry, of course, that is on a higher level. What are the daily practices that would be beneficial? He said, sattvic food in moderate quantity is the best of all sadhanas. So that day the sadhu, without knowing, had eaten rajasic, if not tamasic food, even by virtue of the plate that was stolen and brought. So his mind went for a toss. So the lady explained, I was not surprised when you did not come back. I said to myself, this is the effect of the plate. This is the effect of the stolen gold. And I just prayed God that you would come back one day. And God listened to my prayers. So mohitam. Shankaracharya says, ragadvesha mohadi prakaraihi bhavaihi padarthaihi ebihi yatoktaihi sarvamidam pranijatam jagat. World full of all kinds of living beings. Among humanity itself, there is so much of variety, so much of diversity. It gets deluded. All of us get deluded. Avivekitam apaditam sat. What does mohitam mean? A moment ago, you are able to discern and distinguish between good and bad, right and wrong. You not only distinguished, you went by your discrimination. You accepted what was good and you did not go for what was bad. All that is called viveka. Now, avivekitam apaditam. This jagat has acquired or has resorted to utter indiscrimination. Therefore, na abhijanati mam ebhyaha. Ebhyaha is fifth case, other than. To see me, other than the gunas. The gunas are just an appearance. If somebody sees the waves and then says, I went to the ocean, I saw a lot of waves but did not see water there. Waves are made of water. You say you saw the waves but did not see the water. What a joke. In and amidst the gunas, one has to see God, and one's eyes should be fixed on God only, not on the names and forms, the glitter and glamour, the sorrow and suffering. At the most, just know this happening, but don't allow your mind to go, jump to conclusions, to brand man, to brand people, to brand or to label places. Don't say, what a nice place, this is where I want to live. Don't get attached to any place, or do not say the other extreme. This is a horrible town, I want to leave this town, go somewhere else. You must make your life a happy one wherever you are by right living. Here, gunebhyaha param. Let the gunas play, but let your attention be on God who is in those gunas. The gunas come from Him and go back to Him. Vilakshanam avyayam yayarahitam janmadi sarva bhava vikara varjitam yartaha. Your bis na adhijana. So this is a big problem then. Constantly sattva, rajas and tamas are taking us for a ride. A roller coaster ride. Happy sometimes, sad at other times, depressed at times, excited and upbeat on other occasions. What's going on? Adi Shankara himself connects us to the 14th sloka saying, why? How does this happen? Katham punaha daivim etam trigunatmikam vaishnavim mayam atikramanti. In a sense, we have already explained how it happens because of the play of gunas. And how do we cross this? How do we ensure it does not happen? Vaishnavim Maya. Vaishnavi here means Maya, which is brought forth by Vishnu. The whole Bhagavad Gita is a discourse by Mahavishnu in the form of Sri Krishna. Therefore, with a very wonderful sense of context, Adi Shankaracharya at a number of places brings in Mahavishnu. This is not a place to bring Shiva or Devi, though in the philosophy it is one God and many forms. Vishnu and Shiva, Devi and Ganesha, all of them are that one divinity appearing in many ways. So 14th talks about Maya explicitly. Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mameva Ye Prapadyante Mayametam Tarantite. Oh, Bhagavad Gita is all high philosophy. It doesn't give us any solutions to our problems, some people say. How mistaken they are. In a number of verses, Bhagavan Sri Krishna explicitly says, this is how you may be free from sorrow. Look at the second half of this shloka. Mam eva ye prapadyante. Whoever surrenders to me and me only. Hindu philosophy gives a very broad-minded interpretation. It's Mam. It says, though taken literally, Krishna is saying, surrender to me only, not to any other god and so on. The Vedanta says there is only one God and that God himself appears in hundreds of ways. Therefore, in any other form, if you worship God, doesn't make much difference. Worship God with noble thoughts, with pure emotions, with love for all on the earth, with passion for justice. Go by global ethics. Go by universal values. Then no matter what form of God you worship, you will be led to that one source from which everything comes. Ye mam eva prapadyante, those who surrender to me, that is to God, they, the last word of the shloka, those people, they in Sanskrit is they in English. They cross Maya Taranti. They cross Maya. They will not be caught by Maya. Otherwise, now see the first half. Yesha Maya, this Maya, what is Maya? A deluding power that is in force in the entire universe. Somebody left his country and went away to another country 6,000 miles away with all dreams of having a very happy life in the other country. 6,000 miles away he went. But what's the use? Going there, he again fell for worldly pleasures, worldly position. Wherever you go, there you are. Your mind is the same. You are after delicious food in the country where you were born and where you grew up. Within 24 hours of landing in another country where you had planned to spend rest of your life. One thing you did very, very faithfully is to look around and find out where delicious food is available. Everything else came next. So that is called wherever you go, there you are. That's the title of a certain book written many years ago by some Western author. Wherever you go, there you are. That is the title of it. What it means is wherever you go, there your mind is. That conditioned mind carrying some desires and fears, the mind having strong preferences for and against things. You think you can leave behind your mind in the first country and go and pick up a new mind there? A new mind is not available just to be picked up at some shop or to be ordered at Amazon. No. That is where spiritual sadhana is required. Yesha Maya Gunamayi, made of three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas, is Daivi. It has come from God. But it is Duratyaya. Atyaya means crossing. Duratyaya means extremely hard to cross. Sometimes, as the idiom goes, you fall from the frying pan into fire itself. Frying pan itself is very hot, unbearable. Imagine somebody was in a frying pan and jumped out of it only to fall into fire itself. From bad to worse. Such is the Maya, Duratyaya. Sri Krishna gives the remedy, surrender to God. Turn to God. Turn within, not for anything of the world, but to know God. In knowing God, there is knowing peace. If you don't know God, you don't know peace. Bhashyakara says, Devi Devasya Mama. Bhagavan Sri Krishna is the Deva. He is God. And this Maya belongs to him. If some dog is moving around in some locality, you and I ask, where did this come from? Looks like it is from some house which has somehow come out. The owner should come and leash it and take it away. Where did this come from? Then you come to know it belongs to a certain man on the third cross, second main, and he has been looking for his dog. Finally, he takes it up. This Maya is like a dog which can bite anybody and everybody, and it belongs to God. Devi, Devasya, Mama, Ishwarasya, Vishnoho, Swabhuta. Swa means is my own. I did not bring it from somebody. It is mine from beginning. This being the case, Esha Yatokta Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Dukkhena Atyayaha Atikramanam Yasyaha Sa. Atyaya means crossing. Dur means Dukkhena. That kind of Maya, crossing which is extremely hard. तत्र एवं सति सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेव मायाविनं स्वात्मभूतं सर्वात्मना ये प्रपद्यन्ते ते अतिक्रामन्ति. Shankara borrows the words from the 18th chapter, where it is said, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braj. Towards the end of Bhagavad Geetā. Though in this shloka that part has not come, those two words, Sarvadharman, one, Parityajya, two, have not come. But Shankara knows this is connected to that. Both of them are in the same spirit. Mam eva prapadyante, especially that emphasis, come to me leaving everything else. Therefore, other dharmas. In your deeper contemplation, let go of your dharma as a father, as a brother, as a such and such professional, as citizen of such and such. in your meditation, in your deeper contemplation, I belong only to God. Otherwise, in Vyavahara, it would be fanaticism if anybody dismisses his duties and in the name of God violates law of the land or certain ethics which everybody goes by. This person just violates the ethics or the laws, and what is worse, even hurts people, kills people, and so on and so forth, and saying, I'm doing it for my God. You could say, my God, what kind of God is yours who asks you to kill others? That kind of fanatical or fanatic interpretation is not admissible here. Think of yourself as belonging to God, and God wants you to do your duties, to be kind to people. You should save lives rather than kill. What a distortion of scriptural teachings if you kill in the name of God. Sword in hand and your holy book in second hand, beside the other hand. That's how some people went around saying, our God alone is true. Long back Hiranyakashipu said that to Prahlada. Your God is not true. Who is that Vishnu? There is only one God and that is me, your father. Worship me, said Hiranyakashipu. So fanatical members of any religion are like Hiranyakashipu. And they cannot tolerate even their own son worshipping God in a different way, visualizing God in another way, adoring God in yet another way than what one oneself does. Is not acceptable to these fanatical people. And they go to any extent. Oh, alas. That is not what Sri Krishna is saying. Mayam tarantite, sarva dharman parityaj, sarva bhuta mohinim taranti, samsara bandhanat muchyante. They get liberated from worldly bondage. This is thus a prelude, a certain preparation for Sri Krishna to lead us to understand the beauty of devotion to God. By surrendering to God, you may cross Maya, it was said. Now, what is the nature of surrendering to God? Who does it? Who doesn't? In two verses, he talks about people who don't go to God at all, who spurn God, who reject God. One verse talks about those who reject God, and another verse talks about four kinds of people, Chaturvidha Bhaktaha, who surrender to God. Bhashyakara says, Yadi tvam prapannaha mayam etam taranti, kasmat tvameva sarve na prapadyante. If it is true that by surrendering to you one can cross Maya, why doesn't everybody in the world just do it? If it is time tested, it is totally proved. Why doesn't everyone do? Kasmat tvam eva na prapadyante. Why don't they submit to you? That is Maya. We already said, to put it in other words, Namam dushkritino mudhaha prapadyante naradhamaha mayaya apahrita jnanaha asuram bhavamashritaha. The second half answers it straight away. Mayaya apahrita jnana. Their jnana, their knowledge, their discrimination, their viveka, apahrita, is stolen by Maya. And therefore, alas, they become asuric, demonic. Asuram bhavam ashrita. And those people then do wrong things again and again, time and again. Dushkritinaha. Sukritinaha means those who do good things. Dushkritinaha means those who do sinful things. And therefore, mam na prapadyanti. They do not come to me. Therefore, Maya is, given as a reason. In a simple explanation, Adi Shankara writes, Namam Parameshwaram, the supreme ruler, Narayanam, Dushkritinaha prapadyante. Dushkritinaha Narayanam na prapadyante. They don't go anywhere near God. Naradamaha, they are the worst among human beings. Nikrishtaha, so low, so down in evolution. Maya apahrita jnana. They had certain viveka. They were at one time able to distinguish the right from wrong, but it's gone. Sammushita. Sammushita. Mushita also means stolen. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is a questioner, Vaidagda Shakalya. He begins with some questions which Yajnavalkya answers very patiently. But towards the end, Vidagda Shakalya becomes arrogant and starts asking questions which were impertinent, which were more meant to simply irritate or disturb or distract the teacher. And Yajnavalkya doesn't get distracted, but he sees where this is coming from. And when he realizes that Vidagdha is no more asking a question actually, but has other intentions, and Yajnavalkya doesn't want to simply go on and on. He says, if you go further in this kind of questioning, your head will fall and thieves will take it away. Oh no, Yajnavalkya says your head will fall. And Vidagdha Shakalya was like Hiranyakashipu did not stop. Bang that pillar also with his mace. Vidagdha Shakalya also doesn't stop, just goes, asks again that irrelevant question. And as Yajnavalkya had predicted, his head separates from the body and falls on the earth. And the Upanishad says that some thieves came and took away that head. A very strange piece of story. Some youngsters had asked me in a camp in Lonavala some years ago, why did Yajnavalkya, a great rishi, get angry like that? So after some more thinking, it became clear Yajnavalkya did not get angry or lose temper. He just cautioned. If somebody is going towards fire, any wise man would say, go one step more, your hand will be burnt. That's what Yajnavalkya did. And this fellow went one step forward. And what is this head falling? He loses whatever little understanding he had before, number one. And what is this thieves coming and stealing the... That is a very interesting dimension of the story. When you lose your head, then there are so many lobbies in the world, so many vested interests in the world, so many people with billions of dollars in their pocket, but their ideologies are wicked. They are waiting for somebody like you, lost your head, that is sense of right and wrong recently. Now you are available for sale, for buying. So they will take you away. The symbolic meaning of the head of Vidagdha Shakalya instantly fell on the ground and some thieves came and took away that head is very significant. Very significant. Till recently, somebody was a believer in Sanatana Dharma, in Satya, Hinsa, in the well-being of all, etc., let us say. But something happened, Maya, Aparata Jnana, his head falls, or her head falls first. Then, internationally, there are some lobbies who then take her head away. She becomes a representative of some wicked ideology which is all meant to disrupt order in the world, to disturb and disrupt, and then all mayhem, all this destruction, negative stuff. They find fault with beautiful spiritual philosophies, and they want to totally dismantle. They organized even a summit in United States, dismantling global Hindutva. Alas, if you lose your head, you will be actually joining such conferences and saying you are against Hindutva, you don't realize you are actually talking against Sanatana Dharma. You are talking against the religion which has been showing light to people for thousands of years. So everybody should look within and find out, are they actually bringing justice on earth, or are they just destroying whatever has been beautiful for a very long time? People should look within. So Mayaya Apahrita Jnanaha is also a very thought-provoking statement. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.